For our first read aloud during this shelter in place, we're going to be reading the book John of the Eye Patch. This book is a story by Susan Osterman and written by K.R. Horton. K.R. Horton is my brother and Susan Osterman is my mom. It's a great book. I hope you enjoy it. Chapter 1. Warned by a Pirate. John and Alyssa followed the signs for the yard sale to the old stone house. John pulled his bike to a stop, and he eyed the bounty of treasures sprawled across the lawn. A play castle with a slide, carved wooden sharks, a mannequin dressed in one of those bell-shaped gowns from history books, and... "Told you it was the witch's house," Alyssa blurted. John ignored her and got off his bike to get a better view. "Don't even think about it," Alyssa said. John pointed. "Look at that pirate ship," Alyssa groaned. "She's a witch. She's just trying to lure you in so she can kidnap you. Hansel and Gretel's weakness was candy. Yours is pirates." "What?" "No." John shook his head. "She's just a storyteller." He put his hand in his pocket to feel 2 folded up dollar bills, a quarter, and 2 dimes. He looked back at the pirate ship. "Oh, please be enough, please be enough," he hoped. He crossed the lawn for a better look at the carved wood ship with intricate masts, metal details, and real cloth sails. It was the kind of ship John would expect to see in a museum. Then he saw the price tag. $120. Ouch. "How much money do you have?" John asked. "About $3, Alyssa asked, following him. Even pooling the money together, they'd be over $100 short. John considered writing home and begging his dad for 3 months of allowance in advance. "Oh, you like the ship?" a warbling voice asked. John looked up. It was her. The witch, the storyteller. A peacock hat bobbed on her head. "Do you like the ship or not?" the storyteller insisted. John looked back at the ship, nodding. "Yeah." "Hand-carved by a real pirate." The storyteller stroked a rainbow-painted fingernail along the ship. "Oh, sure it is," Alyssa said. "And this wig belonged to a real clown." She held up an orange, green, and yellow wig. The storyteller let out a soft crackle. "So you'll buy the ship," she said. "I can't afford it," John said. "What can you afford?" The storyteller clinked her rainbow-colored fingernails together. "About $2, John said. "What a coincidence!" The storyteller bent behind the table and rummaged in a cardboard box. When she stood, she held out a single black eye patch. "This just had a price reduction." John eyed the price tag. The original price, $20, had been crossed out, and written in red was $2.45. Exactly what John had in his pocket. "Kind of expensive," Alyssa said. "Expensive?" the storyteller protested. "They have those at the dollar store," Alyssa clarified. "But are those made of genuine shark skin, worn by a real pirate?" The storyteller shooed Alyssa with her fingers and dangled the eye patch in front of John. "Try it on. See if it fits." John watched the eye patch suspiciously. "Go ahead. It's not gonna bite you," the storyteller said. John, this is when she kidnaps you," Alyssa whispered in his ear. John was too distracted by the black and gray shimmering eye patch to pay any attention to Alyssa. The eye patch would make him the coolest kid in 5th grade on Halloween. John plucked the eye patch from the storyteller's multicolored fingernails. "Don't tell me you're falling for this," Alyssa dramatically put the back of her hand against her forehead and turned away from John as he slipped the eye patch into place. John blinked several times and saw the pirate ship in front of him. It must have been a trick of having one eye covered, but John was sure he saw the boat rocking as if it was on the ocean waves. Not only that, he could smell salty sea air. Then something pulled the eye patch from his face. He blinked. Alyssa was still dramatically turned away from him, pausing as if waiting for him to notice her act and play along. "Money for the eye patch," the storyteller said. John glanced between the storyteller and Alyssa and decided to be theatrical as well, saying boldly, "That thing smells like salt water." "Told you I did. Shark skin, worn by a real pirate." The storyteller smiled. "What kind of pirate?" Alyssa glanced over her shoulder. "The kind that spoke with an accent and pillaged and plundered." "Was it a Barbary corsair, a French privateer, a buccaneer?" "Your friend asked too many questions." The storyteller swung the eye patch over the cardboard box as if to put it away and asked John, "Want it or not?" "Deal," John said. He reached into his pocket for his 2 folded dollars and loose coins. He dropped the money into the storyteller's outstretched hand and snatched the hanging eye patch. "Sucker," Alyssa said. The Old Craftsman, as John's dad called it, was 100 years old, a 2-story house painted an unsightly toothpaste green with cream-colored details. It had an expansive porch where John left his bike propped up by the kickstand. Inside, he yelled, "Dad!" as he ran through the living room. His dad was in the office, adding post-it notes to the wall map of Central America. "Dad!" John nearly jumped up and down with excitement from the thoughts of the carved pirate ship. Benjamin Horngold, called by his friends Ben, by colleagues Dr. Horngold, and by John simply Dad, looked away from the map through a pair of bifocals with piercing blue eyes and started. "Yes? What is it?" "Dad, can I get 3 months of allowance early?" As soon as John said it, he knew the answer was going to be no. "Why?" his dad asked. The question was a surprise to John, and he pressed his luck. "Well, there's this really cool hand-carved pirate ship for sale." "A pirate ship?" It's the witch, it's the storyteller is selling it. John winced. He wasn't supposed to call her a witch. His dad had said that was mean-spirited. "Don't trust anything she sells," his dad said. "She invents outrageous stories, so she can ask higher prices for her goods." John's hand went to his back pocket so he could feel the shark skin eye patch. "Worn by a pirate," she had said. "She invents outrageous stories." This was an outrageous story, John thought. Feeling taken advantage of, he was. But the eye patch had stunk of salt water. Clearly that couldn't be faked too, he wondered. And the pirate ship was really ornate and beautiful, and John didn't care if the story about it being carved from a real pirate was made up. He still wanted it. "So can I?" John followed up. "How much money do you have saved up, John?" his dad asked. "None." "None?" His dad raised an eyebrow. "I'll give you 3 months' allowance now. You'll spend it, and you'll beg every day for 3 months for more money." His dad turned back to the map. "Dad, that's not fair." "What's not fair about it?" His dad tapped a pen against one of the post-it notes. "What about raising my allowance?" John asked. "I don't think that's going to happen." His dad scribbled a note and stuck another post-it note to the map. "Alyssa gets $20 a week." His dad began to get visibly tense, turned to face John, and slowly removed his glasses and folded them before setting them down on the corner of the desk. $20 a week is more than half the world's population lives on. But Dad, John wasn't half the world's population. Prove your case to me, John. Why should I pay you more? I'm turning 12 in 2 months. I should get more allowance. When you're 12, you get $12 a week. John did the math in his head and figured $1 extra per week was at best going to get them the ship a week and a half faster. What if I did more chores around the house? John asked. His dad raised his eyebrow even higher at this, but said nothing. His silence indicated that he was waiting to hear more from John. What could I do around the house? John wondered. He kept unloading the dishwasher. He already unloaded the dishwasher. He vacuumed the floors. He kept his room somewhat tidy. He raked leaves in the fall, pulled weeds in the spring, shoveled snow when there was some, which was like once every 4 years. I could mow the lawn, John said. It's the middle of the summer. The lawn won't need much mowing until the fall. What about the blackberries? I could wear gloves. You've been talking about clearing out the blackberries since Ma... He stopped. He caught himself before saying, disappeared. His dad silently walked out of the office, through the living room, and stopped to stare out the large picture window at the street. John slinked after him, feeling angry at himself for making the mistake of bringing up Mom. It wasn't that it was forbidden to talk about Mom in the house. More that every time Mom came up, Dad got real sullen. John couldn't think of anything to cheer up his dad, so he sat on the couch and he pined for that fabulous pirate ship that was now permanently beyond his reach. His thoughts turned to Mom. 2 years ago, John and his dad had gone to an Indian camp. Mom had stayed home as she never liked sleeping in the wilderness. When they returned home, Mom was gone. Her cart was still in the garage. Her purse was still on the counter. Police had said no signs of forced entry or other foul play. She likely left on her own accord. But John knew better. His mom would have never abandoned them. Disappeared was the right word. Now, whenever Mom came up, Dad would just stand there in front of the window and look out at the street. John figured his dad was probably imagining she'd walk around the corner, up the steps to the porch, and tell them about the long lines at the grocery store, like the last 2 years had never happened. His dad left the window, started upstairs, paused, and said, $10 if you clean out all of the blackberry bushes. What do you think happened to John's mom? Where do you think she went? Do you think she's coming back? What about Alyssa? Alyssa thinks the creepy lady's a witch. John says a storyteller. Which one do you think?